like a lot of Swag Academy videos that we do monthly. Everybody comes in and talk if they're like a professor subject or expert. I think back of the class.
You're kind of cutting in and out.
Yeah, I was gonna mention you're.
I wasn't sure if that was just me.
No. I think it's Tim. Your mic is picking up and it's ducking Cullen.
Hello.
Yeah, you're good.
I'll talk like directly into the mic.
Yes, that's perfect.
Put it in your mouth.
Well, if anything, I've been recording on Audacity this whole time. So
yeah,
but
we want to hear it. We're here to learn, Cullen.
Put the mic in your mouth, Homo.
Professor Cullen.
Homo erectus. Fucking great. So my presentation is not on a subject; it is on an experience because I believe life is the greatest teacher, and I am here to tell you of stories of my life.
Oh God, the hippie professor is here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I teach.
He smells strange, and he's walked into the classroom now.
I teach art. I haven't showered in days. So this is my story of, well, as the title says, The Legend of the Nun.
Why does she have a gun? Am I allowed to ask that?
Because when I looked up stock images of nuns, and you could do this right now yourself too on Google, most of the things that come up are nuns with guns. So there's a reoccurring theme here.
God gave us the right to bear arms, man.
Yeah, that's my my presentation. But let's begin. So this story takes place back in my freshman year of college.
I remember studying that at the Swag Academy.
Yeah, Swag Academy. It's crazy how how the time flies and whatnot. So back in freshman year of college, I had just graduated high school, kind of, ready to move on with my school career, kind of get out of the little podunk town I grew up in and whatnot, ready to set on to new adventures, So at the time, I was getting over my unrequited crush with the that I had on the local, with the local goth girl. Yeah, really,
understandable.
Down bad period of time.
A terrible loss for you.
Yeah, I know. Can relate. Not very fun. So I was getting over a very unrequited crush that I had on a girl in my hometown. I was extremely down in the dumps and not really having a fun time. Just overall mentally, this and that. Just kind of setting the scene for how that was, and didn't really know what I was doing with my life. Still don't. Spoiler alert. However many years later since the story takes place, for career prospects or job prospects. So at least with most, I'd imagine, kids in the States, like the fear of like going off to college, especially if you go out of your state, which is what I did, it's like really overwhelming because like I didn't have any friends going to the school that I went to. Like I kind of just wanted to venture out. It was a ways away from my my home and whatnot. So a lot of things going at it, and there's a lot of moving parts and whatnot. So this was around the time during my freshman orientation, which I don't know if you guys have similar things during your time in uni, school, college, etc.
Unfortunately,
we do.
Yeah.
Well, half of us is just called Fresher Week, and it's just a week of everybody getting very drunk.
Yeah, it was basically that. So it was around that period of time that basically, at least in my college experience, every single person starts like what's the word, like connecting up with like a partner. Like everybody gets like starts dating somebody within like the first month of school starting. Like it straight up seems like the first person you interact with, you end up just like dating or doing whatever with, right? So that's what happened with me. Me. Here.
Right. This is a fucking Getty Images.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Is that slime sickle?
That's a great question. I just literally looked.
That looks like.
That's a very specific. Just pulled right there.
I swear to God, that looks like fucking Charles from Slimesicle, man.
Well, I don't remember the exact term I looked up when I was looking up the stock images for the story, but I just looked up like nerd loser stock image. God. This is my favorite one that came up. But in the hole that was created in my heart from the goth girl rejecting me and whatnot, my virgin ass knew that I needed a rebound. So first week of college comes
your
around.
virgin ass knew what knew about rebounds.
Yeah, my
all right,
unrequited crush rebound. Yeah. So
Hey man, you must have never fumbled the goth girl before, man. You don't
Yeah.
understand what it's like.
Okay.
I can speak from experience.
Fumble the
okay. I'm-
goth girl.
I'm just too nervous to talk to hot women, so that's my thing. I can't fumble if you don't like put your hands.
If
up
you
and
don't
grab
try.
it.
100% success rate. Fucking, I can respect that. So there was this girl that I had met earlier in the week. Wasn't during like any sort of freshman orientation event, anything like that. It was literally like she was playing board games with some people, like her, freshman orientation group, in my dorm. Like they had
What
this
a
little,
harlot.
yeah, this study area outside of like where I lived. So I just ended up like staying up late, hanging out, because the first week of school nothing's happening, right? So nobody has anything to do except like go to the events that are scheduled and whatnot. So got her number, and kind of started to go from there. Once we swapped digits and whatnot.
Ooh, saucy.
We started talking. Things were going well and whatnot.
The Virgin Getty versus the board game girl.
Yeah. So it was pretty much like a week going back and forth, kind of getting to know each other, blah, 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 the usual stuff. And then lo and behold, when it comes to the time where, because of our awkward, like past experiences, right? Like unrequited goth girl crush, plus like, baggage from the other side. It was a bit difficult to, really figure out if we wanted to like, be in a committed relationship, right? So, but there was one other really, really determining factor that kind of pushed the story where it's going now. She was already in a committed relationship with God.
You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Huh?
Yeah, and
White Jesus has never lost.
Yeah. And there was another additive problem to the scenario that I found myself in, talking to the only girl that the only girl I was talking to at the beginning of my college was, extrememely religious, and I was a Redditor. So essentially a recipe for disaster. It went as well as you can imagine it would have. So knowing this information and my cultural beliefs and sort of the what's the right word for it, how well the things could have worked out in the future, my chimp brain came up with the most brilliant solution to the endeavor that was faced in front of me, which was ignoring every single red flag issue or everything possible, and just tried to make things work.
Full steam ahead, baby.
Here comes the pain train.
Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. So we continued to see each other kind of, I guess the right word for it is probably casually date. Like, we weren't exclusive. We kind of just hung out, sort of like, I don't want to say friends with benefits because it wasn't like that, but it was just like very, very casual dating.
She tolerated you when you were lonely, is basically what you're... Okay.
Well, no, she gave you the benefit of the Lord.
The Reddit atheist dating the church girl.
I mean, you can't date somebody that's already committed.
The Redditor dating the pastor's daughter.
Yeah.
Hey, I've lived that scenario, and I came out the other side unscathed. So
yeah, this was a Reddit moment indeed. So so we continued to see each other, but we didn't make anything exclusive. And what I mean by that, it was literally not like I would go on a date with like another girl, right? And she would go on a date with another.
You were
guy,
lucky
but,
to be dating this girl, honestly.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, but we called it open because. Oh, yep. What were you
I was just gonna say, from the previous image that you showed, your dating prospects didn't seem high. Not that one, the one above the you know the one I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Your deep fascination with trains posed a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, my obsession with trains and
honestly, there's
automobiles.
probably a lot of girls would probably into it, or at least into it. He's very passionate about something. He has a hobby.
I can imagine.
This guy has been talking nonstop about trains the past hour and a half. He doesn't even let me speak.
He's talking about locomotives from the 1880s. Please let me go home.
He asked me what my favorite Mr. Tank Engine character was 5 times.
Yeah,
He's putting his napkin to his eyes, just talking about William Huxon.
And you guys are a little too on the nose here with
I'm sorry. We don't mean to. I can tell the past.
I love trains.
Yeah. So an hour and 30-minute train rant later, we like I say dated casually because like we weren't calling each other boyfriend girlfriend, and we were kind of like keeping it. I hate using this phrase, but like on the down low, right? Like we weren't outwardly, we weren't like outwardly facing with it. We weren't like, holding hands in public kind of stuff. It was just like, we both like each other's company, but we'll see how the year plays out with no real expectations.
Yeah, you left space for the Lord.
Exactly. See, now you get my point. So let me see here. So yeah, you can imagine how well that fucking scenario went.
God.
Oh,
Yeah. With
a very challenging image you have presented to us today.
Yeah, you can imagine how well not being exclusive went in any of these scenarios when considering that everybody is in college now, and everybody is horned up, corn dogging out, in the first couple of weeks of school.
Corn dogging out? Is that a fucking phrase?
No, I literally just made that up.
Okay, good.
It's a phrase now.
Yeah, so that's not an American term. That's literally just a thing that.
It's a pretty American term, though.
Colonism.
Yeah. So at no point in the no point in the half a semester that we were seeing each other did I ever define any aspect of our relationship. Like I said, didn't call each other boyfriend girlfriend, didn't outwardly show PDA, right? Like public displays of affection, etc., etc. So there was a lot of awkward moments between myself and her suitors, right? Like guys that really were trying.
I want to know more about suitor number 2, the guy on. What's his?
Wait, no, I was gonna say Tyler knows him.
I do know about Morshu. I just want to,
Have you met him? we don't talk about him.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. How the fuck could you not know about Morshu?
You couldn't compete with these.
Yeah. Needless to say, the competition was high, and. Yeah, it led not defining any aspect of the relationship made awkward interactions with guys like very plentiful, because it was this constant like back and forth of just cuckold simulator 2.0. Like it was a fun time. So lot of awkward moments between other guys and her, especially with Jesus as well, kind of still looming in the background of
okay. I thought you were going to say you and Jesus had a conversation that was very awkward.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I will say there was a couple coming to Jesus moments, but
probably wouldn't have hurt, honestly.
Yeah, there's never any moment where him and I were going one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
So we continued to try to make casual dating work, while other suitors and men attempted to romance her in this really, really awkward, just like, I'm a freshman boy in college and I don't know how to date and I don't know anything about relationships, but this girl really likes me and I don't know how to say no or say yes and do this and that. It was a really awkward time.
Hey, it must have been really exciting to meet your girlfriend's new boyfriend every week.
Oh, it's fucking fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So what the scenario presented in like the 6 months of the semester is it led to a really awkward love triangle between a couple guys I knew and was like we're starting to become friends with, and myself kind of in the middle, because there were like people and like randos that would come along, like they'd enter the picture for like a couple days and then they'd leave, right? But then there were like the people that like actually hung around and stayed and whatnot. And it was just this really fucking cringe scenario. Like the cringe does not even begin to describe how bad it was, with like just this awkwardness of like, it was never the scenario of like she's the one girl in the friend group, because it wasn't ever like that. But there were moments where it felt like it was. I don't know if that makes sense the way I'm describing it, but real awkward shit. So
in this visual analogy of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which one are you?
I'm the Redditor.
I feel like that's enough.
Take a guess. Also, sidebar, this movie's fucking phenomenal. It is one of the best spaghetti westerns ever made. I haven't seen the other Fistful of Dollars series, but highly recommend.
And this is why he didn't get laid in college.
He got shot.
It's an hour and 30 minutes after the train rant. I'd start to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. The final shootout scene is the greatest piece of cinematic.
I mean, the musical score is fucking phenomenal too.
Yeah, I was actually listening to it before this meeting.
God damn it. Because you put the picture in and you were like, man, I'm thinking about that movie now.
Yeah, okay, that one was actually on the nose. Not even joking.
Sorry.
So, Yeah. So it led to this really cringe love triangle and whatnot. And eventually, one of these fine gentlemen got close enough to her for the possibility of dating to actually happen. Right. To the point where like there was a sit down, right? Like there was a shakedown between me and this girl where it's like, bro, if you're not gonna like want to say you date me or like you want to date me, then like I'm out. Like I'm gonna start dating this other person. So because I had been tiptoeing around so long, you know, and it was really kind of uncomfortable with the exclusivity thing because I'm like, I don't know if I want to like date somebody exclusively, especially like given our, you know, like differences and just the stuff and how the first like semester of college had went. So in my infinite wisdom and we'll call it jealousy, my monkey brain decided on the next move, which was to start dating the start dating this woman.
How long had you been together before you
yeah.
before you told her I want to date you?
What is this time frame? Like, how is that?
Literally, oh, I forgot. I'm not actually remember the dates. It was like fucking, when does school start? So like fall semester is like August.
Yeah, it starts in
At least
August.
the school I went to.
Mhm.
So it was literally August till Christmas. Like I remember
Bro.
there was like the shakedown before like Christmas break for
Oh,
us.
God.
You simp
Like
for
winter
this
break.
girl for 5 months before
Hey, this
saying
Oh my god, this is a safe space and there's no judgment here.
Sorry.
This
but
is
I
the
mean,
best.
yeah,
This is the
go
best
ahead.
lesson the professor can teach you tonight. Yeah. So it was this awkward, yeah, like simp fest, cringe fest, whatever. So in that moment, I'm like, well, I don't want to lose what I enjoy right now. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And like, we ended up starting to date, which was a great decision. Absolutely had no problems with it whatsoever, and we lived happily ever after. That is the end of the presentation.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I love a happy ending.
I'm fucking kidding. So yeah, 6 months. Those 6 months were not pretty. I will not. I will not try to, lighten up the details on that. They were fucking terrible. It was a shipwreck of disastrous proportions. It was ultimately fucking horrendous. Our relationship caused nonstop drama between our friend group, right? Because if you remember, there was an awkward love triangle that has now become a love line, a straight fucking line between her and I. So other guy that I cucked literally was pissed, understandably so. The other guy who didn't even know what was going on was like, what? Like he walked into like the mid-season finale, like which he thought was the pilot episode. Like he's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, or that one gif, which I don't have in the presentation, but I'm thinking of in my head. I think it's from Community, or like the guy walks into the room with like
With the
whole
pizza
room's
and
on
then
fire.
everything's on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, guys like, what the fuck's happening?
Donald Glover's looking around, just having confused.
And so it created drama as a result, right? Because if you imagine like, you know, a couple people were just like upset, frustrated. I was, you know, in the middle of that. So that wasn't fun, right? We had our constant arguments, right? Between the visualization here is spot on. No, I will not explain further.
I'm assuming you are the small boy.
I will not explain further.
Okay.
And the big guy is Jesus.
Yeah.
No comment, Your Honor. And like our arguing was terrible. I mean, just like really stupid, petty shit that is funny to look back on now. And quite frankly, I can't go into detail too much about. But was just not fun for like the time being, especially when it's like you're super focused on school and you're trying to like figure out how like, you know, college works and whatnot. Terrifying time to do that kind of stuff. And ultimately, you know, in the months discovering how exclusivity worked, right? Because like there's that little switch that flicks in your head where it's like, I'm dating this person now. Like everything's different. Because you got to be more like lovey-dovey, this and that. And that perspective was coming from two very emotionally stunted and immature people at the time. So it was like really awkward trying to like sift through that and whatnot, you know, especially with my my Redditology, my you know, my whatever the word is, awkwardness.
Degree from Reddit University.
Yeah. I was at Reddit University at the time.
You were going into college to get a second master's.
Yeah, me r/atheism interacting with r/Christianity. Yeah, it was was a good time. So ultimately, we were just worse off being together, I think was kind of the conclusions. But we stayed in this perpetual state of dating, until the ultimate night at Burger Town.
Burger Town.
Yeah. So
Wait. Well, this is a shock for me. What? There's a place called Burger.
No, there's no place called Burger Town.
It's from
because-
what, Modern Warfare 2?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Good.
Yeah, because I'm clearly using real names, places,
Right,
statements,
right.
and everything else.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Well,
went.
you could if you like it was a McDonald's, I wouldn't be like, yes, the McDonald's that must be near where you live.
Yeah,
It
I
was
don't.
like-
This is the
It was
Burger
like
Town.
in the airport at the airport map. And
We were playing Michael Myers on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
I was hiding in the Burger Town.
Yeah, Ramirez secured the Burger Town for me.
Remember, no burger.
Yeah. So we ultimately, well, I won't get ahead of myself, but there was a night where all my friends went out. So we went to this Burger Town pretty much like, for some reason, I don't even know why we did this as much as we did. Like, they were the most mid fucking American cheeseburgers of all time. It was just like the ceremony of like walking all the way to like the student union and, ordering the burger and spending our cafeteria dollars, and I don't remember what it was called, on the burgers, was just fun. It was a nice little tradition that we had and whatnot. I think we'd go every it was either Friday or some day during the week. Don't remember, but we did that as usual, right? So the one guy that I sort of cucked out of being in a relationship.
The
with
guy who
this
was
girl.
actually close enough to her to have started dating.
Yeah,
Mhm.
literally, and wasn't Jesus,
And wasn't
but,
Jesus.
Yeah, so all my friends and I went to Burger Town, and this guy was waiting, literally there, for us, right? And he had been kind of standoffish as a result of everything happening, understandably so, right? Like I said, I do not I do not support or advocate for my behavior back in the day, but he was waiting there for us, and he ended up kind of getting really aggressive with all of us, right? And was just kind of upset and frustrated because he had just not been showing up to our little friend hangouts and whatnot, and then all of a sudden came out one day knew we were going to eat at the exact same time, and was just basically trying to start a verbal altercation and whatnot, a bunch of stupid teenagers kind of screaming at each other, and ultimately we no fists broke out. There was no sort of fights, but the tension in the room got high enough to where I wouldn't have been shocked if if he was lunging at somebody.
Was it just with you or just with the general group?
It was mostly with me, but there were people where it's moments where it's hey guys, come on, this isn't that big of a deal. You need to.
Just so I understand where your head would have been at the time, if it had come to a fight, do you think you then could have taken him?
Maybe.
Mm.
I don't want to.
Mm.
I'll say yes, but I don't know.
Was he a
Wouldn't have
Cassowary? Was he a killed?
Yeah, he was.
How long was his tail?
is he a 20-meter lizard? I think it falls upon the silverback versus a grizzly bear analogy, right? Who wins that fight?
Sure.
No, the grizzly bear would rip the fucking gorilla apart. Are you kidding me?
Was he in fact a
He
dreaded
would,
gorilla?
he would kill the gorilla with its face. That's what would happen. The gorilla would be eaten.
Gorilla erectus.
I'm sorry. I hate that argument. It's just so unscientific.
Well, it's a fucking stupid argument because bears literally are predatory, and gorillas kind of aren't. Not really. They're more
They're
defensive.
more eusocial.
They weigh 3 times as much. They there's just no way. People
Jack,
just
save
don't
it for your next
understand.
presentation, okay?
I'm gonna end that debate in my next.
Yeah, I
presentation.
really want the scientific breakdown of could a gorilla take a bear?
Well, no, that's not the
Absolutely
thing as well,
fucking not.
because there's people with the bear. Who would win out?
That is off topic.
Sorry. go
So yeah, after our very cordial discussion of if a silverback gorilla or a grizzly bear would win in the fight,
While everyone's sitting watching for an hour.
yeah, that was actually what we argued about. He just shouted over the entire auditorium hall was
no,
"I'm
the
so
grizzly
fucking
bear
tired
would
of hearing
win.
about trains."
He just kept
Yeah.
screaming Homo erectus, and it was just a wild time for everyone.
He was
involved.
enough about the trains. Then we just talked about animals fighting for an hour and 30. So promptly thereafter, on like a fucking whim, like I was almost looking for an excuse to do this because I was like too much of a loser to actually like just do it. I broke up with her like over text on the spot.
Wow.
Like I was just like, this is dumb. Like I don't even know why I'm bothering with this anymore.
You
And,
mean
like,
wait at the Burger Child?
Yeah, so like I was at Burger Town and I was just like, yeah, we're done. Bye bye. And then that was
Was
it.
she at the Burger Town too?
No, she was just
Okay.
like she
No,
was also,
no.
like,
Colin texted her.
sitting in the corner. Yeah.
I thought before that we had set up that they had both decided to go out as a
No. I probably should have explained that a little better, but no, she was like, I think she was like doing some sort of exam or something that was like way off in the middle of nowhere. So like she gets out of her exam and that's the first thing she reads.
God.
Yeah. It
Woof.
was fucking awful. Yeah. So I decided on that, kind of just wanted to take a step back because I'm like, this is just not worth my time at all. Because there was a lot of other, like moving parts associated with that. But one
Good
way or
decision, horrible execution.
another. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just stuttering my words over here. There's no other way to describe it. So no looking
Yeah.
back whatsoever. Broke up with her on the spot. It was fucking messy as a result, as you can imagine, because of all of the build up from before. A lot of awkwardness. It was towards like the end of the semester. So this was like, if I remember correctly, it was like kind of around finals week. So like everybody's in the shit, trying to study for classes. It's our freshman year, so it's like a really stressful time anyways, because a lot of our classes are more of the weed out classes, depending on what you were majoring in. So not a very fun time to be doing that, friend drama, background stuff, yada yada. Not very fun. We didn't end up talking for like weeks. Like literally, it was like a cutoff. Like I don't think I had
Sometimes
blocked.
that's good.
Yeah. Like I don't think I blocked her, but it was like we just didn't talk. Like we were literally like doing our own separate thing and whatnot. There was a moment, and I don't have this in the slide, but I think the slide covers it perfectly, where there was a moment where like I wanted just some level of closure where because our dorms, we lived like right next to each other, and I would just wanted to like on the last day of school before like I went home for like summer break, I just want to be like, hey, I'm sorry, this was a whole mess, like, well, let's come back in like however many months from now, not figure things out and like try to get back together, but just like be on good terms and whatnot. And she just straight up refused to like even like talk, speak, or like meet with me like whatsoever in those moments, right? And I'm painting myself to be an asshole, which I was, but like it was like she told me well, she didn't want to, like she didn't tell me that, but she was like, oh, I'm busy with exams and I have I have to study in the morning, and then would like immediately text my friends to be like, I'm not hanging out with them, like, I'm not doing this and that. And it was like, it's really funny looking back on it, but at the time, like that was my last impression. So fast forward to next semester. I know it says 1 year later, but it was really like a couple months later.
1 year since the beginning.
Yeah, like one year since the beginning. I'm in my sophomore year at Swag Academy. Living it up, having a good time. And I learn from a friend of mine who still kind of like keeps up with her and like her sort of friend group and whatnot, that I think a couple weeks into the sophomore year she dropped out of college. I'm like, oh shit, well that's something, right? That's absolutely nutty, because like based on like the amount of credits that she had and everything else, like she was 2/3 of the way done with her degree, like because of prior credits, prior courses, relevant experience, stuff like that. And she just completely dropped it. I'm like, well, damn, that's really rough. Like I don't even know that happened. Like what's going on? And then like he dishes like the ultimate bomb on me that I will never forget, when he tells me that she dropped out of college to become a nun.
You got married to Jesus.
Yeah.
You did get married to Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you implying that you turned a girl into a nun?
It's not even an implication. It is
Like that's what happened.
It is a fact. I literally
like cause and effect.
pushed the girl to the nunnery, the fucking nunnery. I pushed a woman into the arms of Jesus. The fucking nunnery.
I mean, that's a point for you somewhere, right?
Yeah, cross that one off your bingo card,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Our relationship
I
ended
like-
so badly, I turned her off of the idea of men.
Oh,
I-
relation.
Of
Did
relationships.
someone say achievement unlocked?
Yeah.
I was such a bad boyfriend. I pushed a girl into the arms of Jesus. Like, that is the biggest like red flag opener sentence where it's like if you can put up with that, then like
Yeah,
oh,
you
man.
don't lead with that on a Tinder date. Like, hey, you know the last girl I dated, she's a nun now.
You are scarily on the fucking nose with my shit. I'm not even joking. This isn't even a part of the script that I was going to share, but I'm going to share it just because you said that. My Tinder bio, literally, the first line used to say, "My ex dropped out of college to become a nun." I'm not even kidding.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I did open
Not,
that.
not the best advertisement.
Honestly, that sounds like a power play.
Hey, and it was. No spoilers.
But
it was a fucking power play.
you're both happier now, is the moral of the story.
Right? Well, I haven't spoken to her since she dropped out of college, so
Probably not much technology.
Probably for the best, yeah.
it's kind of hard to contact somebody who's on a fucking mountaintop in the middle of Timbuktu. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware, she's doing her nunnery nun work in the middle of like some anime mountain in the in the Alps.
You really do love paying attention to the people you went out with.
Yeah. So that was a fucking experience of my life that happened and is totally real. It's kind of funny to think about out loud because it's crazy to think that like however many years ago that is a real thing that happened and is forever on my fucking like my bingo card.
Hey, it's on the internet now, baby.
So,
Well, that's the thing as well, because when writers or storytellers say like life is the best kind of reference to draw inspiration from,
Writers comes up.
it's kind of true. Look, this story is fucking wild, and it's more wild because it's happened to a person who I'm currently talking to.
Oh, absolutely. So, my experiences have left me with this parting thought, and I am not very much so a religious man, but I have done more of the Lord's work than many people that I've met in my life, and yeah, it's quite an enlightening moment. So thank you all for your time. That was my TED talk. Amen.
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 You were sent by God to bring her to the church.
Well,
Any questions?
I don't think so.
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
are you good? Are
In
you
what?
good?
Where? What's the frame of reference for this question?
No,
There's a lot.
Are you
Just answer the question. Like,
Maybe.
if you think about it, good.
Yeah, I think I'm doing all right.
Well, that's good.
Nice.
Nice.
In a non-joking answer, those moments in my life are really funny to look back on. Like I joke with my IRL friends about that like constantly. But during the time, it was like an extremely volatile, just awfulness.
Oh yeah, no, I could
That's
imagine that was
yeah,
like
that's-
super awkward and no one really knew how to talk about what they were feeling. Like,
An
ugh.
emotionally distressing time for teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many like little stories and instances I can get into from like what I can remember. Even moments where like I'll talk with my friends and I'm like, man, I didn't even remember that happened. Like it was just so long ago. Like it was a blur.
You know what,
You know.
Cullen, you're the social studies teacher.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
My social studies are quite
Sociology.
literal. Yeah. So there'll be life experiences that I can share. But yeah, I'm not making that up. Actually happened.
I don't
haven't
I don't
spoken to her
doubt it.
since. I will say, when I said I have no contact, that is partially true because I never spoke directly to her. Like, there was a moment where my birthday sophomore year, I guess this was the last point of contact, which is also a terrible fucking detail of the story, but I'm sharing it anyways. Like, she tried messaging me happy birthday.
Should I stop recording, by the way?
Probably leave it for now. I want to.
Okay.
I want to hear this last bit.
I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna say anything that's like doxing at all. Like I've made sure to keep all of those sort of details out. So yeah, you can. Yeah, you're good to do whatever. Like I wouldn't share anything on here that wouldn't be potentially like anything else. But she had wished me like happy birthday over text, right? And my friends just had a fucking field day with it, and I don't remember what we sent her, but we found some like Twitter shit post, and like I didn't even respond with like words. I literally just sent her a video of some guy like farting on a mic, and that was like my like
Why
my
could
hap-
you do
How
that?
old were you?
That's like an objectively
How old
nice
or
thing.
drunk were you?
yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
have any
yeah.
of you ever had a girlfriend dump you and literally become a nun afterwards? I feel like it
Yeah.
leaves a salty taste in your mouth after.
'Cause,
I
well,
guess
you know,
so.
All she did was say happy birthday. That's
Yeah,
like an
I mean-
objectively nice thing to do.
I was
Like,
still salty.
She somehow found a way from the top of a mountain in Timbuktu to text you and tell you happy birthday.
Snuck off the mountain,
Through
actually.
the power of the Lord, she sent you a text and you replied with a fart proof.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it wasn't my idea, but I did roll with it. It was like, yeah, it was
Just following orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soldiers follow orders. Soldiers of God.
I just love the idea. She prays, she asks Jesus to send you a text, and then she asks, did he respond? And Jesus looks at his phone and looks at her and says, no.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. What were you
I was
gonna say?
just gonna say the idea of like maybe at the nunnery, she's like she's talking with like the mother superior or whatever, and she's like the mother superior is like, you have to forgive others to like forgive yourself and find peace in the people who hurt you. And then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna try to reach out to the person who sent me here in the first place, just to get some closure and to help us both move along. And then she's like, hey, happy birthday! I know it's your birthday. Have a good one. And you're like, what up? Rats in the jet. Press F, motherfuckers.
Yeah, press F.
We
Yeah, it was a
do-
quick time event.
We do a little bit of
the Mass Effect dialogue wheel popped up and it was like Paragon, neutral, or renegade.